So this is how I turn this whale-shaped scoop. It's based on a design by British woodcarver Chris Allen. So you start with a blank around 2 inches by 5 inches, and it's set in a 4-jaw chuck. Here I'm using calipers, and I'm setting the depth of the parting cut to 1 3/4 inches. And I'm just using a peel and cut with the skew to do that. From there, I'm going to hollow out this area of the whale's tail, and it involves going into end grain. First, I'm using a spindle gouge, and then I go to a negative rake scraper, which leaves a really nice surface on end grain. So the head of the whale is a sphere, and now though I am checking to make sure with a small piece of paper that's a template to make sure that that end grain has that shape that I'm looking for, as illustrated here. So as you could tell, the head is a sphere, and I'm marking the most narrow point of the whale, which is the narrow point of his tail. And now using a spindle gouge, making cove cuts from either side. I'm shaping the tail, and then going to the narrow part of the tail. It's pretty important that you get that narrow. And now it's an issue of getting the head of the whale to a sphere, and you can check with the template. Here I'm just sanding to get a good finish. This is very popular. I make quite a few of these. I haven't done them in a while. Because you're using templates and all, it's a little bit of almost like a production type piece, which I'm not a big fan of. But after parting it off, I'm just checking to make sure that whale's head is perfectly round. So here I'm checking, and I'm going to set the calipers to the diameter of the head, and then I'm going to transfer it to these dividers, and that helps me set the size I need for this waist jam chuck that is going to hold that half of this whale. And of course, it's going to be held by that round sphere of the head. Here I am just checking the fit. And once I'm satisfied with the fit, in this case now I'm marking where I'll have to saw and chisel away. But before you do that, you have to saw this in half. And an alternate method might be to, glue 2 blocks with a paper joint. But with some relatively slow going with a good pull saw, you can get it divided in half. You'll notice in the previous shot that I had it in a vise. That's okay, because that section of the tail is going to be sanded away or carved away. Now you're seeing where I'm going to be chiseling away on that jam chuck so that I can get the entire body of the whale scoop. This is a little strap that I'm using, and I'm actually making it out of some aluminum plate, and it's shaped similar to the rim, and here I'm chiseling out where that portion of the tail needs to exit the jam chuck. This is the reason why I'm not a wood carver. I'm a turner. Pretty slow going there. It's pretty ugly, but it does the job. And of course you just keep fitting it, and eventually you'll just take the strap that you made, and I just positioned where the holes were and just used a couple of sheet metal screws, and that now keeps that scoop in place. Now please be aware that you have that projection, the tail is sticking out, so you don't want this to be your Moby Dick. Well, here's the first face grain turning I've done for this series of YouTube videos. And I hope I do an okay job. I actually did get a skip out, but it wasn't, it was salvageable. So you can drill a depth hole. I didn't find it necessary. I have, like I said, made a few of these, quite a few of these actually, although I haven't recently. And now, you just stop and check. I would think you should not take it out too often, but you certainly can to check the overall depth. And I'm going to now finish with using a scraper. You want a nice consistently thin wall for the scoop to really feel well in your hands and to do what it has to do. So I'm just going to remove it. And again, you can certainly remove it. Check the overall thickness of the bowl, or the scoop, I should say. And now you'll know how accurate your sphere was, because that wall thickness is very important. And it is. It looks like it's pretty consistently round. And with a little work, I'm going to trim off that portion of the tail. And with some sanding and some finish, this one is slightly smaller. It's 1.5 inch. People ask me, how much does the scoop hold? And I say, does it matter? Anyhow, enjoy. And thanks for watching.